Whoa, it's the Illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. All right. Joe Rogan. Dude, that guy's gone sideways. And plenty of you throughout the years have always said that he's a shill on a certain level. But I've always had sort of a mad respect for Joe Rogan. The dude's funny, man. Like, you can't deny the guy is pretty darn funny. And I don't just mean his stand-up. I mean, he's got a way of seeing things, right? So I've always been a fan, but I've always sort of taken, take what you like, leave the rest kind of thing with Joe Rogan. And when I really started to I don't know, somehow Joe Rogan's become this authority. I'll give it, he's a huge presence on the internet or whatever. He's a huge presence, big podcaster, big deal. He's a big deal. He's Joe Rogan, UFC, the whole thing. Dude, I don't want to slag anyone. And this is more about, see, all right, I have to talk about it. Because the more and more I dig into weaponized anthropology, and for those of you who aren't totally hip on weaponized anthropology, it's basically a lot of using popular culture and drug culture and music and television and movies to cause movements of populations of people to basically implode any sort of productive energy that might be brewing up to take down the system and reestablish personal sovereignty. And so I've always been tripping on Joe Rogan about the whole chemtrails thing. You can argue any way you want about it. I observe the sky. I see it all the time, dude. This isn't about chemtrails, but I caught the video, the clip of him, what was it, 2 months ago, where he's fully denying chemtrails. At the same time, he's pulling up articles talking about how they're using upper atmosphere aerosol injection over in Dubai to get rain to happen and stuff. So he's talking out of both sides of his mouth on the chemtrail thing. And what really's got me about Joe Rogan was the Tommy Robinson thing. I'm not buying that he doesn't know who Tommy Robinson is or what was going on over in the UK with Tommy Robinson, because you can't be doing what Joe Rogan does and not be semi-informed about peripheral issues. Let's say Tommy Robinson's a peripheral issue, dude. But you're a major media person who's in the loop talking to all these people. And then I think about a number of people he hasn't had on his podcast. He hasn't had Anthony Patch on his podcast. And if you don't know who Anthony Patch is, you should check him out, because he's about the CERN, the 5G internet combined with the D-Wave computers opening up the portal to hell for interdimensional beings to come in and hassle us and take us over. And so whatever, I didn't really like the kind of dismissal he gave what Tommy Robinson's doing up there. And as a look, man, if you were sitting in Germany in the early 30s, dude, and they were talking about how there's this guy up there, man, with the funny mustache, he's getting all these dudes together. They're gonna jam up their scene. He's anti-Semitic. He's crazy. He's gonna gas all these people. He's got plans, man. He's got plans. He's got bad plans. And you're sitting in Germany in the 30s. There were a bunch of people who were like, nah, it's not gonna go like that. Nah, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. Well, what happened, man? What happened with Stalin, with Mao, with Pol Pot, with all these guys? What happened to the original people of this continent who were constantly told, you're crazy, we're not going to come and round you up and stick you on the reservation. Here's your treaty, dude. Everything's going to be fine. No, dude. As an interdimensional being, as a beam of light who's transitioned to my relationship with God, I do not live in fear of what it is. But part of the thing that I think we must recognize is humans have constantly rounded each other up and done horrible things to one another. And so here we are, 2018. I don't know. Seems to me like there's an interdimensional element to what's going on. And this gets me back to, and this seems to be a pretty evil thing that's happening, man. What? Look, man, like as a person who doesn't really understand evil, I can imagine I'm a writer. I can write some pretty far out dark stuff, and all of that kind of stuff is like, what if it really is as dark as some of these people are talking about? What if it really is a bunch of like Satanists running the show, and they really are rounding up the kids like it's that Dick Van Dyke movie, man. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. What if this is really Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Right? I'm hedging my bet, dude, that to be aware in order to be free, dude. I'm not getting swept up in a tide of humanity. And you can look through history as plenty of people have just been swept by humanity. And so there's something going on here. There's some dark energy going on. And I don't need to look any further than the oil companies, man. I don't have to look any further than the pollution of the drinking water supply. Right? You can look at Monsanto, and you can go down that bunny hole. We're talking about Joe Rogan, dude. Joe Rogan. So he does this. He goes sideways about the Tommy Robinson thing, who's standing up against the pedophiles. He throws his buddy Alex Jones under the bus. Whatever, man. He throws Eddie Bravo under the bus. All right, dude. Joe's not my kind of friend. Holy smoke, dude. It's one thing to say your friends are funny, but to say they're a kook and blah, just his weird thing. Anyway, what gets me is I know enough about the misuse of drug culture as a weapon to destabilize consciousness. And he's going on this, he's always been a big DMT guy, dude. And I'll roll there. I'll roll. I don't know if psychedelics expanded my mind or they exposed me to the interdimensional portal of hell. I don't know. I think that a weak individual go down the dark side. I think I'm a pretty strong spiritual person who's had the protection of God my entire existence. I went and checked it out, man. It helped me perceive the reality differently. But so Joe Rogan's up there on his big podcast, hyping DMT, hyping ayahuasca, ripping bong hits, claiming that you're lame if you don't smoke weed. I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. The man is in charge of the weed now. The man is running the weed show, especially if you're out here in California. The man's in charge of the weed, dude. The man. We know who the man is, don't we? So, what's happened to Joe Rogan, man? Man, he's got kids. He's got a life. He's a badass, though, dude. I watch his workout videos, man. Dude, no one's touching Joe Rogan working out, bro. Holy smoke, that guy's the gnarliest, dude. So there he is in his nice little world, dude, and he's got his giant pipeline to the world population via his podcast, dude. The Joe Rogan Experience, dude. Is he leading us? Is he leading people down the primrose path to their own destruction? I mean, because look, I deal with it on this YouTube channel. People are looking for someone to tell them what to do. Like, and like, I can only share my experience. I would never tell anybody to. I don't know, man. Maybe I would tell you to do something if you really needed the help. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't. All I know is when you're up there hyping DMT and all these things, man, I don't know. I think it's part of the man. I think it's the man. I think psychedelics, the way I've always viewed it, is they're your own personal experience, man. They're like God, dude. Joe's become like a religious guy when it comes to pot and psychedelics. He's like a religious kook, dude. So has he been co-opted by the man? I think so. I think he's afraid, dude. Because there's no way you're sitting here in 2018 and not asking some serious questions, man. He's a fence sitter, dude. He fence sits on Trump. Like, whatever, dude. Like, all right, fence sit. He's kind of come out lately and been all like, yeah, Trump 2020. Like, whatever, dude. Get all caught up in the decoy. I don't really care. What I'm saying is, I think Joe Rogan's I do really think that he is a con. And not for I think that the dude gives out so much valuable information, dude. Dude, Joe Rogan has expanded my mind with some of the information he's brought forward, with some of the ways he perceives reality, has turned me on to looking at reality differently. And yet, when it comes to this other stuff, man, he gives it lip service out of one side of his mouth and then goes and fully like embraces the other stuff out of the other side of his mouth, right? Like, I don't know, man. I think he's a con job. Not that fired up on Joe Rogan anymore. Though I'm not going to not listen to him because, like, we have to listen to these people in order to figure out what the con job is, man. Because, look, man, we're all on our own personal journeys. I know that. But, like, who's Joe Rogan, dude? When did he become an authority on anything? I'll give it, man. He talks to a lot of smart people. He talks to a lot of people, but he also doesn't talk to a whole bunch of other smart people, man. I don't know. And then you look at the thing where why wouldn't he waffle under pressure, man? It's historically speaking, dude. Very few people stand up against the machine when they come and say we're gonna take you and your family out, dude, if you don't toe the party line, dude. Some heavy stuff, dude. Some heavy stuff. That's, again, I go back to the Germany in the 30s, man. But then again, I go, if you truly have a relationship of God, you're not afraid of that. You're willing. You're like, screw, man. God's gave me the power. I don't ever have to sell anyone out, man. I don't ever have to sell anyone out. Have I sold anyone out recently? No. Yeah, I mean, I was some thoughts about Joe Rogan today, man. I don't even know why I'm bringing it. I don't really dig like slagging on anyone or casting shade on anyone, but something ain't right about that dude, man. Something's not right about him. He's a full on trap. He's a setup, dude. He is, dude. I hope I get to go on a show and find out for real. It's The Illusion signing off.